I just instinctually turned my handlebars to the right, hit a ditch, and just immediately started flipping. And it was immediate paralysis. I just want healing. I want to feel good again. I want to love my body again. And sure enough, life gives you exactly, I think, what you ask for.
You're sparkling and you're shining and you're everywhere, inspiring others to do the same.
This is who I am when all doors are closed, when cameras are off. This is still who I am, that it's so aligned and it's so authentic. And that's the part that you can't fake.
Hey, welcome back to Ignition Point. I'm Debbie Hart.
Sean Finnegan.
And today we have the icon, Sarah Foley, vertical blonde, founder of the Icon Speaker Academy. So welcome today.
You
Thank you.
nailed it.
Getting better. We can all learn new things.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. So what is your story? I mean, everybody's got one, but you know, most of us can hide our stories. It was really hard for me to start sharing mine, honestly. Like, I like to hide and just do my own thing. But you walk into a room and everyone knows, oh, what is your story? Because you glow and you sparkle, but obviously you've been through some things. So let's hear like where you got started and how it's going for you now.
Yeah, thank you. Let's jump right to it. I absolutely cannot hide it. I'm in a wheelchair. It's front and center. And so it was 12 years ago now. So it's been quite a bit of time. I've had a lot of time to adjust. But prior to my accident, life was really, really good. In fact, I'd gone a hike that morning, and during the hike, I turned to my boyfriend and said, God, my life is so perfect. There's just nothing.
That morning.
That morning.
Nothing you would change.
And 4 hours later, we were on four-wheel ride, and we were with another couple. So each of us on our own four-wheeler down in Bryan Head. And we kind of went up around this bend. Couldn't quite tell what was on the other side. Guys go up ahead to check. The other boyfriend waves us up saying, you're good. We don't know that my boyfriend's coming down the hill to come get me and the other girl. And as we go up and come around the bend, we're going at each other full speed ahead. So he gets so far to the other side that I just had to keep going straight. I would have been fine. And all of that happening in just total slow motion. I remember looking to my left and being like, he's way over there. I'm good. But I just instinctually turned my handlebars to the right, hit a ditch, and just immediately started flipping.
Ugh.
And so it crushed me. I still can taste the dirt. I can hear the crunching of bone and metal.
Life slows down in that moment.
Yeah.
It totally does.
It almost stops. Like it
is
time
so
stands still.
slow. It's like ground, sky, just flipping at full speed. And as it came to a stop, I was so coherent. I remember the whole thing. And I just remember him running towards me at full speed, dirt kicking on his feet. And he's just excruciating. And I thought, oh my God, I'm mangled. There's no way I'm recognizable. Oh my gosh. I did have a helmet on, thank God. And he comes up to me and I just said, don't move me. Call Life Flight. How's my face? And he's just like, babe, your face is beautiful, but I don't even know about the rest of your body. Like there's no way you were a rag doll on this thing. And it was immediate paralysis. So for the rib cage down, I don't feel, I don't move. Not walking is kind of the least of my worries. There's so many things that come with paralysis that people just don't recognize. And so, yeah, that was the scene of the crime. That was like what happened. And the first 4 years, it was just like, let's just get through this. Let's just get through the next stage. Let's get through the next day.
You had milestones that you wanted to get through.
Yeah. Biggest one for me, I just wanted to get back to work. I was actually running a spa at that time. Prior to that, I'd worked in television. So I had some really cool things that I'd done in my life. But I just wanted to get back to work. I wanted to be needed again. Because frankly, I was just in this place of need and I was so dependent on people again. And I hated that. Yeah. So getting through that was really crucial. I ended up having a baby though after paralysis, which the one benefit, you don't feel childbirth.
For sure. Yeah,
like,
that's
baby,
for sure.
Let's try it out. Body knows what to do. But those first 4 years were just like survival mode and just getting through it and keeping the smile on your face. Like, good, everything's great. We're not.
But you're not.
You're not. Behind closed doors were really, really dark. Yeah. And a lot of days I just did not want to be here anymore.
For 4 years. Very long time.
So
Long time.
what was that turning point? Because now I always see you all over the place, speaking on stages. I just saw a video of you dancing with scarves.
Yeah.
You're sparkling and you're shining and you're everywhere, inspiring others to do the same.
Thank
So
you.
where was that gap? Like, how did you cross that bridge?
Yeah, life actually took us to Maui. And as it took me to Maui, I needed to leave my old job behind, leave all my old identity behind, frankly. And as I moved to Maui, I was like, I am opening myself up to healers. I just want healing. I want to feel good again. I want to love my body again. And sure enough, life gives you exactly, I think, what you ask for. And I met people that taught me how to treat my body different, eat well, dance again, therapy, support groups, how to speak about it, how to talk about it, how to feel through it all, and really kind of regained my footing. And it was during that point that people that were back home in Utah, they just kept wanting to know what was going on. So I was like, oh, I'll just start a blog. I'll just let them know what's going on. And I thought my words have so much power. And what I named this blog is going to be crucial to me moving forward. I just knew that instinctually. And I came up with the name Vertical Blonde. And everything started to shift. Because I started to call myself Vertical Blonde. I had little business cards made. I was, starting to like really step into that. And I thought, well, what would Vertical Blonde do? How would Vertical Blonde treat herself? And it was almost this, I call it my iconic identity. And that's what I teach today of like, if you chose who you were going to be through it, if you made that conscious decision, you said, what do I need? Well, I need healers. I need people to teach me how to get through this. I need to journey through this differently than I have been. I think we instinctually know what we need. And I think that if we can kind of rip off those layers and parts of us that are not serving us and actually get to the root of who we are, we're already iconic. Like we already are these beautiful beings. And so it was just very conscious. It was very, very intentional. And I just kept using her as this true north. And then it's like, now there's no gap. I am her. And as I walk into a room, roll into a room, people tell me all the time, they're like, I forget that your life is hard because I don't even see your wheelchair anymore.
Yeah.
And I just want to be seen for who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Even as you came in today, your face shines. You
It
just
does.
shine
You
as a
do.
person. You really light the room.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And I think that because it comes so deep within, that this is who I am when all doors are closed, when cameras are off, this is still who I am, that it's so aligned and it's so authentic. And that's the part that you can't fake.
You
Yeah.
can't.
Right?
You
You
have to
can't fake it.
choose to get there. You have to choose to cultivate that. And that's what you do now.
Yeah.
Is it women specifically or people in general?
People in general. So yeah, it seems like the thing that people ask me every time I speak on stage, I'll get like a line of people that are just saying, I feel like I need to share my story and I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know exactly where to start.
Yep.
First, it's an identity shift. We go really deep into identity because the hardest part about becoming a speaker is just calling yourself a speaker and owning it. And so we go into identity, and then, I've got a lot of background when it comes to being on camera, being on stage. It's very much in me, and I know it really well. And it feels really good to teach people that. So
We had this experience together where you were training a group of, people that wanted to tell their story and become, speakers, right? Icons,
Yeah.
right? And the idea was you were training them, and then there was going to be a big finale event at Tax Hive at the building. And I think
Yep.
you told the group, hey, we're going to go see some great speakers
yes,
at Tax Hive. And they thought they were just going to go be audience members. And as they came into the room, they then realize they're the great speakers, right? And their friends, their family are there. It's like
I
this
just got
big,
chills. That's
this
beautiful.
big reveal that they're actually the speakers. And now it's that electric moment where they have to go stand up in front of everyone and tell their story that you just trained them to do.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
And the cool part is like one of our standards is that we live ready. We live in anticipation that someone's going to hand us a mic at any given moment. So when you live ready, it's like, oh, I'm ready for this. Like you don't have to be like, oh my God, got to get prepared. It's like, no, we've been practicing for 12 weeks. They just came off this retreat. I'm like, you guys are more than ready. And they went up there with such confidence and grace and and readiness. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's going to be hard for the next group. Like, how do I surprise the next
Right.
group?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I'm big on my surprises. Like, I
Yeah.
love catching people off guard
Uh-huh.
because that's like where the most
Live
growth
ready.
happens.
Where you
Yeah,
find
for
out
sure.
if you're living
Ah,
ready.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
so
actually.
liberating. It's so cool.
What do you tell people that have all this fear? It's up there. It's of death is fourth, and
Yeah.
public speaking is like top.
It is
fear
top.
in the world. So how do you? Someone says to you, "Hey, I can't do this. I'm just too
Yeah.
afraid."
You know what? I've think I've cracked the code, honestly, because I think that it's not so much the speaking, it's that when we get up in front of an audience, immediately we think, I got to please everybody here. I got to say the word that's going to please everybody in the room, and you can't. You absolutely can't. And then people freeze up. What am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Oh, now they're here. Now they're here. And you get all up in your head. And so what we really teach is that no, you get down in your body. You get seated into who you are and you speak truth. And we also live by the standard that we only speak on what we are the living proof of. I am not going to speak on anything I'm not living the results of. And by doing that, I can sit up here or stand up on stage with such confidence and grace and conviction because I'm already living the result. But if you get up on stage and try to teach something that you're not living the result of, you're going to cower. And if you're trying to please everyone in the room, you're going to cower. So if you just make those simple standards for yourself of I'm only speaking on what I know. And by doing that, you already know all the answers.
And if they're prepared and they've trained and they've practiced the skills that you teach them, they'll have more confidence in standing up there, right?
Yeah.
And the hard part is that the one thing I can't teach to them is just getting in the reps. You just have to practice. You just have to get it in those reps and practice getting into your body, practice speaking in front of others. Like there's nothing that competes with just putting in the reps.
Tell us about one of the more powerful times you were on stage and spoke in front of an audience.
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I think the one that's coming to mind most right now is I got to be the keynote for a graduating class in Idaho. And I was their gift to the class from the Student Body Council, which was really cool. They all raised money to bring me in to speak. And there was such a beautiful energy in the room that I actually was able to hold their attention, which was key. And
It's a tough crowd.
It's a tough crowd.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
really, really big on the energy that I bring. Like I bring the hype. Like I come in larger than life. And, I went through and did my research on all their top songs they loved. It was all playing when they came in and just getting in that mode. And then I also have a promise to myself that I will stay until the last person's in line that wants to talk to me at the end. And so we had a very long line, longer than any other spot I've spoken at. And they all came with the same question. What I want to do is different than what my parents want me to do.
Interesting.
It was so fascinating because they're all graduating. They're like, my parents want me to go this way, and I feel this way. And it was such a, there were so many tears shed in that line. Like, just how do I do this? And, and then they'd kind of rally around someone that's like, I'm going to have that conversation with my parents. And just like, if you're not true to yourself, like you're just going to put on that happy face and you're going to be dying inside. And I think we can all relate to that, where we put on this face, we say everything's okay, but really it's not. And we're trying to please everybody, but the last person we're pleasing is ourselves. So it was really powerful to have those conversations.
What a breakthrough for a lot of those kids too.
It was cool.
It's going
Right?
to change the way they live their life moving forward.
I'm hoping so. It was really cool.
So what's one of the most powerful transformations you've seen for one of the students that has gone through your program?
Oh my goodness. Well, there's this one guy, Eric. I love what he said to me one day. He's been very diligent in it, and he was confident before, like that wasn't his issue, but there is definitely like this sense of self that has just really come out of him. And he calls me one day and he says, I figured it out. He says, I walk taller. And I thought, that has got to be the coolest compliment I've ever received about what we do. because yes, it's a speaking academy. Yes, we talk about public speaking, but at the core of what we are is identity shifting. It's that breakthrough of just really unleashing who we are. And when you do, you walk taller, you sit taller, you show up in a room different. We had this conversation before we started, right?
Yeah.
Like your whole energy and your presence and your posture, everything changes when you know who you are.
Yeah, and although it's a speaker training, that affected every day of his life.
Every
It
single
changes whole
area.
confidence.
Every aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
Every single area. Relationships change. The way you network changes. Your business changes. Your sales change. Everything changes when you feel confident in speaking in front of other people.
So, what is your best advice for someone who's going through something hard right now? Like they're in that moment. What would you say to them?
So first and foremost, I kind of came up with this acronym of living vertically, right? And every letter stands for something. And you start with V. So your vitality. And I always say you lean into the places and the areas where you feel the best, right? And so sometimes it's like, God, what did you love doing when you were a kid? I loved to dance. I loved to play this one sport. I loved to, and it's like, when's the last time you did that? So just honing in on where you feel the best, because if your body doesn't feel good, nothing else matters. Like absolutely nothing else matters. So you have to put your physical health and vitality first. Actually, the way I started coaching was I started fitness coaching for female wheelchair users. That was my original company. It was called Disability Icon. I started it with my personal trainer because I had this massive physical transformation, and all these other girls are like, how'd you do this? But every single time we would start with just physical health. The only thing they wanted to work on was their wheelchair tummy. Like we just wanted to get that fit again, right? And every single time they'd start to feel fit and they'd all say the same thing. What else can I do? So as soon as you start feeling better, you're going to know what the next step is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a wonderful first step. So where can everyone follow you and continue to learn from you and your journey, perhaps take your classes with you?
Yeah. So everything's Vertical Blonde, like across the board. Anything you search, any platform, it's all Vertical Blonde. I love Instagram. Love having conversations on the DMs. Like love it when people write in of, I came up with my iconic identity name and this is what it stands for. And this is what I was able to do. Those are my favorite DMs. So, but all of them. And then also verticalblonde.com.
Well, we have something else in common. We both love a certain artist.
Yes.
Right?
Let's
I
hear
don't know
this
if you could love
story.
them more than
I don't know.
love
This
them.
could be a good competition because I.
Well, she got the experience, though.
I did.
Yes, you
it.
actually definitely.
She created this experience.
You've been closer.
Not washed the sweat
Yeah.
off of that shirt.
Yeah, right. That's good.
Like that is
I'm with
hardcore.
you on that.
So there's
Yes.
this moment you shared with me at another event.
Yes.
That you you practice living what
Living
you preach.
ready.
You
Yes.
live ready, and you're at this concert, your favorite concert, and you're like, I'm going to be on that stage, and you believe it so much, you tell your friend, this is my favorite part of the story, get your camera out because this is happening, and your friend, you created people around you who
Yes.
also live ready and believe in you to the level that you do. And she's got the camera out. And so why don't you share the rest of that
walk us through
experience?
it.
Share it.
Well, okay, it started in March when I initially got the tickets.
Okay.
And the concert was in October, so it's Macklemore, if you have not picked up on that yet, but love
Just the
Macklemore.
greatest of all time.
Just
That's-
the
yeah.
greatest
Yeah.
and hottest
Yes.
and most amazing human of all time.
Yeah.
But when I initially got the tickets, I knew exactly who I was going to go with. She's my favorite concert goer friend, Brooke. And I called her up and I was like, okay, I got us the tickets. When are we going thrift shopping? She's like, okay, get it on. Like we had to have the big fur coats. I needed big glasses.
Yes.
So we immediately went
Yes.
thrift shopping back in March, prepping for this event. And all along I said, I just got this feeling I'm going to be on that stage with him. And she goes, of course you are.
Right.
Like, of course.
What a
And I
great
said,
friend to believe.
She's
Yes.
amazing.
Right?
And so I said, okay, here's the deal. We need the VIP tickets. We got to be first in line. We got to be first in the building. Like we got to do all these things. She's like, absolutely. And I said, make sure you take the next day off work because if we get on that bus afterwards, like we need to be prepared.
We need to be ready.
Okay. We got to
Yep.
be ready for it all.
Yes.
And so sure enough, we got there super early. It's like super sweaty in our big fur coats. But the big security guy comes over and he's like, as soon as I open this gate, it's going to be a mad hall. So I'm going to let you and your friend in first. You've got the wheelchair. I'm telling you, this thing has become like my magic carpet.
Yeah.
It has gotten me in so many great places and so many great seats. But at the complex, it was so cool. The ADA seating was in front of the barricade.
Wow.
So all the people are behind us, like moshed in, and there's me in her front row the entire time, singing our hearts out, going crazy, just having the best time. And she's like, I still got the camera ready. Like as soon as you're on stage, like I'm running up there to get it all. And we just knew it. We just anticipated it. And so sure enough, there's this part of the concert where he does a dance off and he pulls 2 people from the audience. And I'm just like yelling and I'm like right here. What I don't know is everyone behind me is pointing at me because they've been watching me the whole show.
Just how into it you
losing
are.
my mind.
Right.
And the best part, you'll have to go on my Instagram to watch it because my friend, sure enough, she rushes like washed through like the security guards, gets front and center. They pull me up. The big guys like lift me up the stage, get me up there. He's got his arm around me asking for my name.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, Macklemore. And we do this dance off. And the coolest part was he says, this is what life's about right here. He said, I felt your energy from the very first song.
Let's go.
And I always say your energy is your currency.
Yes.
Your energy is how you transact with the world.
Yes.
Your energy is how you're getting in rooms, how
you
you're
show
getting
up.
deals.
Yep.
It's all that energy. And he says, I felt it from the very first song. He says, you got charisma, you got style. He says, you're so fly. Like he goes on and on. I'm like, yeah, when are we going out?
Yeah. Right.
And we do this dance off and, in just this incredible moment. And it's funny, I'll get stopped at like the grocery store and be like, didn't you dance with Macklemore?
Right.
Yes.
That
yes,
was
I
me.
did. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. But
love
yes,
that.
it was very much, we felt it from before we even went in that building. We knew it was going to happen. And the whole idea of living ready is that you are living in anticipation of. You are expecting the outcome. And if you expected it, how would you show up different?
Yeah. Well, you do
100%.
win. I
So
think you
good.
win as the super fan, I think,
Yeah,
on that
you
one.
do.
For sure.
think
That's pretty
so.
amazing.
It was
And
so
someone
good.
who lives what she preaches. You live ready.
What a great
so.
point, though, is how you show up and bring your energy like you did.
100%.
And that's what
Yeah.
made the difference.
Because he even called that out.
Right.
He did.
Powerful.
Yeah, he felt it.
Powerful.
It was so cool. And anytime someone questions me, I just say, watch this Instagram. Macklemore will tell you what's up.
Sarah,
Yeah.
Vertical Blonde, honor to have you.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you
guys
so
so
much
much.
for joining us today.
Nah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
If any of you watching today have any doubts that your current CPA is not helping you take 100% advantage of the deductions you deserve and helping you stay compliant with the IRS, then don't hesitate to get involved with TaxHive today. You won't be disappointed.